Hey guys, so earlier today I finally went and saw the movie Marshall, the movie about the new biopic about Thurgood Marshall, if you don't know what it is. I know this movie is a couple months old. It came out like fucking October, and now I'm only getting it now in December. I know that's very fucking weird, but for some reason my movie theater just is randomly plays movies whenever they fucking feel like it at this point. I don't get how they decide what movies they get and what movies they don't get. It's fucking weird. If anybody ever wonders like why I don't get this movie or review that movie, it's because it's not at the movie theater. Like I said, I'm not even getting Disaster Artist until next week. It's getting released this week, but I ain't getting it until next week. I have no idea why. Apparently, I'm not the only theater this is happening to. I think it's only getting like a wide or limited release, like some big cities, and that's about it. And then it'll be released wide next week, which I'm fucking disappointed because I was really looking forward to seeing that this week. But I was like, I was like, looking, I was like, what's playing this week that I can go see instead? Marshall. At first, my reaction was like, Marshall, what the fuck is that? Like, oh yeah, that's a Thurgood Marshall biopic. I got previews for like months ago, and it came out. It came out in October, and I fucking barely forgot about it because my theater never put it out. I remember thinking, all right, this is gonna be interesting. A new biopic about another historical black figure played by Chadwick Boseman. Because I made this joke when I saw this trailer. I'm like, is this his new niche? Is this like the thing that's gonna find his career? This and playing back Black Panther. All right, because he's now played Jackie Robinson, James Brown, and now Thurgood Marshall. I'm like, it's like these movies are almost, you can kind of like integrate all these movies because he's basically playing, like I said, he is making a career out of playing black historical figures. There's nothing wrong with that because he is a really good actor, but I was like, that's kind of weird. I guess he's the go-to guy, like the token black guy to do this. So, like, I was like, all right. And then, like, from the trailers, I barely remember the trailers. I had to watch it. I think I only got it once. I was like, yeah, it looked pretty good. I remember it looking pretty good, and it's been getting decent reviews since it came out. And, yeah, I like this movie a lot. As far as, like, the Chadwick Boseman black biopic movies that he's made, I kind of like this. This is maybe my favorite one of his, honestly. This was pretty damn good. I was not that big. I was a big fan of 42 as far as Jackie Robinson, and I wasn't that big of a fan of Get On Up, which I remember being so disappointed by that movie because I love James Brown. I remember just being so goddamn disappointed. But I really liked this movie. Best way to describe this movie is it's kind of like pretty much the story of fucking Thurgood Marshall, but also mixed in with To Kill a Mockingbird. Because that's a lot, like, the court case is basically the same, that is told throughout this movie is basically almost a lot of the same thing as, like, the court case that was going to kill a Mockingbird. But it has a different result, I'll say that. And that, like, it not only follows Thurgood Marshall and his involvement with this case, it also follows very for a majority of it, Josh Gad's character, who was actually, honestly, I'll give credit to Josh Gad. I'm not a big fan of Josh Gad. I've not always been, like, I'm on and off. Like, he can be good, and it depends on what he, like, his. If he's one of those comedians that can be overbearing and really annoying when he is like going to the extreme, like stuff like I'm trying to think about sometimes in Frozen he can be a little much, Wedding Planner and stuff like that. But he's not this movie he showed he's not a fucking bad actor. I'll give him fucking credit. His character is given as much screen time as for Chadwick Boseman's Thurgood Marshall, and he's actually pretty goddamn good in this movie. You see the consequences of, because he's basically an insurance lawyer who is pretty much put on this case about a black servant that supposedly raped a Connecticut socialite, and pretty much unwillingly he's put on this case because even though Thurgood Marshall is basically supposed to be there representing this black guy, this black servant, it's the 1960s, and he's obviously can't represent him because he's black, and also he's and because of that he's also like now a state lawyer, and because he's black they won't allow him to be his this black servant's lawyer, so Josh Gad has to do it, step in and do it. And Josh Gad, even though he's only an insurance lawyer, doesn't do anything criminal law, doesn't know anything about criminal law, he gets pretty much put into this, and it shows like him, all the struggles he's having to deal with because he's Jewish, and he's kind of been like, there's a lot of like use like racial slurs like kike and N-word, obviously. Used in this movie, and he's being widely criticized by pretty much this whole community for taking on this case, and even his wife and kids at one point. It's like his acting is pretty solid in this thing. I'll give him credit. Obviously Chadwick Boseman's great. God damn, this guy's he basically plays Thurgood Marshall the same way he kind of plays has played James Brown and Jackie Robinson, in that he's like this cocky, arrogant, charismatic guy who is very likable, but like does the person Thurgood Marshall justice. I'll give him that. He's a very important figure in history. Can't be ignored. And like goes to the next. Basically, this movie, I give him credit. They don't just like talk about like his most famous moments like they did with James Brown, like, and Get On Up. They just basically cover like his early career as a lawyer, and that's it. Like in this case that he was involved in his early career before he became a Supreme Court justice, before the Brown versus Board of Education happened and all stuff like that. And so it's really cool. And like his relationship, his quote unquote relationship with his wife, because he basically goes, because he's the only lawyer in the NAACP at the time, and they don't have any other black lawyers to represent black clients who are wrongfully accused of doing something that they didn't do. It kind of shows the good thing that the NAACP were made for, like, which was basically to try to give a fair trial to black people that were wrongfully accused of something that they didn't do. And like it's really kind of good to see like them kind of show the message, which I feel like a lot of times NAACP nowadays has kind of forgotten their like original goals. I know that's kind of controversial, but whatever. Also, I want to say this because this movie was kind of awkward to watch. I was like sitting there like not just because of like the racial epitaphs that are going on in this movie, but also this movie is about rape. And I don't know if I'm the only one while watching this where they're talking about, what is consent and what isn't consent, and, everything like in between when it comes to rape. And with all the shit that's going on in Hollywood right now, and you're like, I'm like, I mean, this movie did kind of come out right before this fucking happened. The Harvey Weinstein shit broke, which was pretty much the thing that steamrolled it all. So it's like, it's like, yeah, movie. It kind of has a message about that, but I'm like, man, whew, yeah, I don't know. Now it's like taking a whole different meaning. Kate Hudson, there's like a lot of great actors. Kate Hudson's in this. She's the socialite. She has obviously something like, that secret that she's hiding about what's really happened. And then James Cromwell is the fucking judge, which is nice. He's kind of like a racist asshole, but he kind of shows his that he's kind of a good, decent judge by the end of this movie. Because he's the guy who won't let Thurgood Marshall even speak one bit. He won't let him speak one bit during the court. If he does, he's in contempt of court. And that's like, he'll pretty much arrest him right off the fucking bat, which is fucked up, even though he's a guy who has a bar degree, and he's fought in the Supreme Court, or like took cases to the Supreme Court and everything else like that. He still won't recognize him just because he's fucking black. I'm like I said, I know shit like that happens. Like with this movie, I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, like I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of criticism, like with the Jackie Robinson movie, that like they didn't really show. They only scratched the surface probably with all the with the harassment that Thurgood Marshall and Josh Gad's character probably got. It probably only scratched the surface. Like, they get beat up at one point, particularly Josh Gad. Thurgood Marshall actually kind of like holds his own, which was kind of funny. Yeah, I recommend this movie. It's really good. It's a really good movie. It's exactly what I expected it was going to be. I don't think it'll be in my top 10 list, even though it's really good. I don't see this being like it's. I put it almost in the same category as like I said, 42, and I like, even though Get On Up, which even though I see this movie is better than those two movies, I still kind of put them in the same category. There are movies that are really good, and I'll probably watch maybe one more time if it ever is on TV, and that's probably about it. Yeah, like I said, if you've pretty much seen everything else, like 4 and Coco and all that other shit that's out there, all the good stuff that's out there right now, and this is playing, go fucking see it. It's a decent movie. It's a pretty damn good movie. It's like about a very important historical figure. As far as trailers, a new trailer for 12 Strong, that movie about the first responders after 9/11, pretty much like these CIA operatives, that these 12 CIA army of 12 CIA operatives that went out to Afghanistan to start the war against Taliban and everything else like that on pretty much the day after September 11th. It's like the untold story. It does look pretty damn good, even though I'm still worried it's being produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Black Panther. This was weird because this was basically the teaser trailer for this movie, even though I already got the full-length trailer like a few weeks ago. I got this time. I got the fucking teaser trailer instead, and it was kind of fun to watch the opening where it has Andy Serkis being crazy, which is pretty fun to watch. So it was like, I like Andy Serkis might be really fucking great in this movie. Yeah, like I'm gonna still see it one way or another. It's fucking another Marvel movie, and they haven't disappointed me yet. So that's something I'll be checking out. And then the last trailer I got was the new trailer for Darkest Hour. Man, the more I see trailers for this, I've gotten trailers for this quite a lot. The same one I've usually always get, but this is a new one. Man, this movie looks great. It's like this I'm pretty much going to call it right now. I think it's pretty much obvious by now while watching these fucking trailers that it's like Gary Oldman's probably I pretty much a shoe-in for the best actor right now with this role. It's Gary Oldman, a guy who's been widely regarded as one of the greatest actors ever, who's only been nominated once, I fucking believe, if I'm correct. Anybody can correct me in the comments, they can tell me. And it's an Oscar that's a lot of people consider long overdue. And it's about a historical figure, a very famous historical figure, so that's checking off all the fucking boxes right there. I was sitting there thinking in my head, I said, wouldn't it be kind of funny if James Franco wins for playing Tommy Wiseau? But now it's like, I saw this trailer, I'm like, oh yeah, it's fucking pretty much going to be Gary Oldman. I guarantee, I'm calling it right now. Gary Oldman's winning Best Actor. I will be fucking shocked because it's just checking all the boxes, like I said, for an Oscar-winning movie. Which, like I said, it looks really good. Like I said, Gary Oldman's acting his ass off in this fucking thing, so I'm like, I cannot wait to see this. Whenever it fucking comes to my feed, or probably not until fucking June or something. So yeah, that's as far as trailers go. I'll be back not until next week with The Disaster Artist, and if there's anything else, I don't know for sure if there's gonna be anything else. But yeah, definitely a Disaster Artist. I am fucking looking forward to that a lot. So until then, I'll talk to you guys later.